Angry MGTOW here. Is that right? Is that who I am? Yeah. Welcome to the Angry MGTOW show. Today we're going to be discussing VR porn, or more so, how VR porn will replace women, sex, and intimacy. Now, we're going to be looking at some of the crazy things happening in the world of VR porn today, and it is ridiculous, the innovative technology that is currently being developed. One such article that I stumbled upon is by Digital Trends that talks about it may look revolting, but this mannequin head camera could be future of VR porn. And guys, you may think this sounds absolutely crazy, but the things that are totally coming out right now are astounding. They are astounding, they are shocking, and they are downright marvelous when you think about how they can potentially liberate men from having to go out and, do all kind of date a woman and go on expensive dates and courtship, when they could actually use VR porn. Now, this is a device that's currently in development, and I know, again, it looks creepy, but this thing is actually pretty interesting. So here's how this actually works. The future of VR pornography may just be embodied by a disembodied mannequin head full of cameras that is aimed at capturing more intimate emotional footage. Aha! Method behind the madness. Real Doll is building a fleet of AI-powered sex robots with customizable personalities. Porn tech pioneer VR Bangers announced the release of a disembodied mannequin head that records the audio and visual nuance of intimacy. The point of view head rig captures the caresses and sweet nothing whispers bestowed upon it by pornography performers via stereoscopic cameras in the eyes and head, as well as binaural microphones in its ears. The multiple cameras attain 4K resolution at 60 frames per second. Guys, this is in fucking 4K. The company aims to forge an ultra-real immersive emotional collection for porn performers and viewers. So basically, here's what's happening. The way this thing is, this is not intended for consumers. This is intended for people who actually make pornography, or more so make VR porn. So for example, a female performer, presumably, would caress this, whisper sweet nothings into its ear. Basically all the things they would usually do with a normal person. The device would capture these things, these impulses, these touches, these movements, these gestures, and then it would do its best to re-emulate these things when someone has a VR headset on, or potentially in the future when they have a device that allows stimulations that go just beyond seeing and hearing. It's quite amazing what the technology is moving towards. Now, this rig was built especially for adult VR scenes because we noticed that there is a much warmer and more intimate emotional attachment between the performer and the recording device if the device itself is able to be kissed, caressed, and whispered to in the same sort of way that a real person would sense those subtle communications, said VRBangers.com CTO Boris Shmirov in the press release. It's easy to think that performers will be able to overcome all the odd positions and constraints of filming content so it looks pristine on a virtual screen. But the fact is, the more we can help our models get the most out of their play space, the better our content will be, the better our content will continue to be, and the real winner in the line of advancements is always our fans. The device was deemed too risky for the CES 2017 show, despite its unique strategy to level up interpersonal technology. The show didn't allow us in because they still think the industry and tech are different or something, Smirnov said in the press release. Motherboard reports the company showed off the controversial tech at the AVN Adult Entertainment Expo instead. So that's the article, and it's actually linked in the description so you can check it out again for yourself. This is a Digital Trends article. There's a bunch of others out there. But this is just one of the many great examples of the amazing technology that is currently in the works that can take VR porn to other levels. Let's not forget about what can also happen in terms of augmented reality, and when augmented reality becomes a major thing. I mean, could you imagine having something like this mannequin head, and when you put on augmented reality glasses, it suddenly looks like a real person, and it begins mapping everything, your facial expressions, and changes based on the model, changes based on your facial expressions. If you frown, the model notices that you're frowning and may do things to try to cheer you up. This is where things start to go beyond just a simple virtual reality porn experience and into interacting with a virtual reality person, a virtual reality model that can actually show empathy and respond to basic to potentially eventually advanced reactions from you, the viewer. It's really beginning to bridge the gap between reality and imagination. It's truly amazing. There's also other incredible devices that are being worked on, incredible VR software that's being looked on. One such creation is an incredible software called EvaGalaxyEvolution Distant Planet. And that's a picture from the actual game. The game is actually, it's a simulator of sorts, and it actually allows you to engage in a VR setting that allows for adult scenarios. It's really incredible. You guys can check it out, and I'm going to link you to a video with the full trailer here on YouTube, and the dev is called Dev Rifter. And this is actually going to be compatible with the HTC VIVE and Oculus Rift. I mean, I am just downright fascinated by all the things that are happening with this specific software. This is only one of many, but with this specific software, you'll get things such as voice recognition software, and you'll also have the most advanced real-time body fat simulation. Again, this is just downright insane stuff that these developers are coming up with. And we're going to see more developers such as these guys coming up with really unique VR experiences, really unique porn experiences, as crazy as it sounds. And men are going to pay for this because the alternative to this is essentially women. And, you know, women are expensive, so forget about the first date when you could just jump onto VR porn and have fun that way. I mean, there's one thing this technology has the potential to do, and that is to bring people further apart, which is kind of funny. So, I mean, we do have to think about those implications as well, because people begin to use this kind of technology, they're going to start spending less time together. Millennials are already dating less, having less sex, getting married less. I mean, it's only getting worse. When something like VR porn that at this level begins to emerge, where you can literally tailor the characters to your models, to the designs that you prefer, and have real interpersonal relationships even in scenarios where you may even begin to be able to touch them, or come very damn near close. At these points, you'll start to question whether or not men will want to actually get involved with a woman. Think about all the things that a man has to do. You have to take her on a date, typically. The average man does not just get laid. He doesn't just hook up with a woman. He has to take her on a date. He has to have a real relationship with her. He has to listen to all of her shit. He has to buy her food. These meals are getting expensive, guys. And then he has to make her excited, all this other crap. And then the funny thing is, if she likes him too much, a lot of times she won't put out on the first date or the second date or even the third date, because she's worried that as soon as she puts out, he's going to stop calling her. So she basically puts the pussy on a pedestal. And it makes it even worse for the guy, because he's doing all these things to get to know her better, but he also wants to have sex, and he ends up never getting it. And there's a lot of guys who go through this scenario losing hundreds of dollars. And it's funny when you hear a woman say something like, the man should just be honored that a woman shows up. He should just be honored that she graces him with her presence. And I think to myself, he should just be honored? He should just be honored? Like, who the hell do you think you are? He should just be honored that you show up, that you're allowing him to pay for your meal. He should just be honored. With all this type of narcissism that men are putting up with in society today, it would not surprise me if a lot of guys start saying, hey, you know what? VR porn is way more than enough for me. There's a lot of young people, especially Generation Generation Z, they come after the millennials. They're around 18 years old right now, are entering young adulthood. And they're beginning to say, you know what, we're not interested in sex at all. We don't want the trouble that comes with it. We don't want the narcissism that comes with it. We just want to have fun. We just want to make money. And a lot of these young people are not interested in sex at all. It's going to be interesting because for young women in that age group, they're going to find themselves dealing with young men that don't want to have anything to do with them. And these young men are going to look for outlets. They say the millennials are the most tech-savvy generation in history, but these young kids, these 18-year-olds, these 10-year-olds, but the people, the Generation X, the Generation Zers, they were born into a world where they never knew anything other than the iPhone. When they were babies, little kids, when they were still children, they were playing with iPhones. So as they're entering adulthood now, they're starting to say, well, because don't forget the iPhone is 10. So they're starting to say, well, you know what? I'm gonna go down this avenue because technology feels second nature to me, and I get to save my energy. I don't have to be bothered. And for a lot of young people, they'll figure that it's a lot less intrusive to have a relationship with something like this, to have a relationship with VR porn, to have a relationship with a virtual reality doll. They'll say this feels more natural because they don't know anything else, and the idea of actually having a sexual relationship with a real person, it may seem almost disgusting to them. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a thing called Demolition Man a number of years ago. Demolition Man was very interesting for quite a handful of reasons. One of the main reasons why Demolition Man was so interesting was, I think it was called Demolition Man, is because it took place in the future. And in the so-called future, you had people who were essentially being told that sex is no longer good, avoid sex, and they were using VR-like headsets to have sex. I mean, this is essentially the future that we're headed for. We're headed for a very sexless society where men and women focus on themselves, where men especially focus on themselves and their own happiness, and say that they don't actually have time anymore to be in relationships with women. They don't have time anymore to get intimate, and instead they want to spend all of their time having fun and doing the things that they enjoy. This is the society we're heading for, where people are more divided, but it's still very interesting to see the type of technology that's going to take us there. So, I mean, I want to know what you guys think. I mean, are you interested in VR porn? Do you agree that VR porn is going to have a substantial impact on society, on mating, on differences, on relationships between men and women? Because I think that it's going to be prominent, it's going to be substantial, it's going to be huge, the way that this technology truly impacts society. Men and women are essentially going to, it's going to change the dynamics heavily between men and women when this type of technology truly goes mainstream, when this type of technology really begins getting out into the wild. And it's going to be very interesting to see exactly how people respond to it, how people go for it. I know Luis Nunez is saying that I should have brought TFM to talk about VR porn since he uses it. That's definitely something I may do in another video. I might bring on Turd Flinging Monkey and see what his reality and what his experiences have been with virtual reality porn, because it's becoming a lot more prominent. I mean, I remember hearing about guys sitting outside of a Starbucks watching VR porn, and it's frightening. That's going to be one of the really devastating things, are things that guys have to think about, is when you're sitting at like Starbucks and there's some guy sitting next to you with a VR headset on and he's watching pornography. That is something that you're gonna have to think about, because you don't really, it's going to allow people to be a lot more discreet about the things that they're watching right next to others. Because, for example, if someone's watching porn on their laptop, you can usually peek over, and sometimes people don't care, but usually most people won't do that out in the open. But if they can sit there and watch VR porn and turn the volume off, they'll do that. There are a number of people doing that already, and again, it's not going to it's definitely going to have ramifications on society. It's also going to probably change the way that the laws work. Men sitting there watching their porn in public. Again, and there's going to be guys who say, well, you know what, it's our right to do this, it's our freedom to do this. However, Again, it's going to be truly very interesting. But the good thing about this is that it's giving men more options, and it's allowing them to explore their sexuality in a variety of new ways that have nothing to do with women and are not restricted or completely controlled by females. So let me know what you think in the comment section if you agree that VR porn will replace women's sex and intimacy. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I see that this video already has 1 dislike, so that must be from a woman. And don't forget, I typically make about 3 of these videos every single day, plus bonus videos. So please consider leaving a donation via my Patreon by clicking on the Patreon link on my YouTube homepage, or you can also find a link to my Patreon in the description of this video. And if you're donating as little as $5 via Patreon, is incredible. So please use Patreon instead of PayPal, because it allows you to become a regular sponsor of my work. You can choose as little as $5 or as much as $100, 5, 10, 30, whatever works for you. You can choose something based on your budget, and this helps to ensure I can continue to make great quality content for you guys. So definitely check out my Patreon, and also never miss another Angry MGTOW video ever again by enabling notifications. You can enable notifications by clicking on the notification button next to the subscribe button below any of my YouTube videos, and you'll see a pop-up that says send me all notifications for this channel. Just go ahead and check the box, hit save. If you've already done it, you don't have to do it again, and you will always receive a notification whenever I'm live streaming or whenever I put out a brand new video. So let me know if you agree that VR porn will replace women's sex and intimacy. I really want to know what you guys think, because I think that this is going to be a wave of the future. It's really going to change things. It's really going to evolve things. It's really going to make things extraordinarily different for men and their expression of sexuality in society. Definitely check out the EvaGalaxyEvolution Distant Planet project, which I'm linking in the description of this video, and you can have a pretty good look at what the technology looks like. I mean, this is truly immersive stuff, and I myself am extremely excited about the prospect of what this can do for men, the doors that it can open up for us, and how it can allow us to express ourselves without the intervention of a woman. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MGTOW or death. And cheers!